What's going on, Star Wars fans? Welcome back to the TK423 podcast. What we got cooking up today is a continuation of our Star Wars film ranking list, and we have rank number 6 today. And for, again, a little bit of a recap, at rank number 11, we had Rise of Skywalker. At rank 10, we had The Last Jedi. Rank 9 was thrown out the window due to a tie at rank 8 with Solo: A Star Wars Story and Attack of the Clones. And then at rank 7, we had The Force Awakens. And now, let's get into rank 6.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
So rank 6 is The Phantom Menace. And I know this may be an unpopular opinion, but The Phantom Menace is this high because the story behind it. Okay? It's the first Star Wars film since Return of the Jedi. And yes, it did have a lot of green screen, which was my main critique of Attack of the Clones. But at the end of the day, when you look at the story as a whole, the birth of Darth Vader, and, Anakin getting freed from slavery and having to leave his mother and going with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to start his journey as a Jedi. And the small parts of this film make up for the small good parts of this film make up for the bad parts, right? Some of the bad parts are due to it being catered to a younger audience, like a lot of the yippies and, the Jar Jar Binkses and just the goofiness that you get from this film. Misa no Hando Booba! Like, just things like that that can make the movie seem a little goofy. And I understand that, but at the end of the day, when you're looking at it from a straight story point of view and how the characters were introduced and even McGregor knocking it out of the park as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and at the end of the day, Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon prevailed, right? Granted, he did die to a very controversial stab in the stomach, which now, with modern day Star Wars, apparently you can survive from it. But that's neither here or there. The biggest reason why The Phantom Menace is so high up in my rankings is the Duel of the Fates, right? It is the second best duel in all of Star Wars, right behind the Battle of the Heroes, in my opinion. And the Duel of Fates, I believe I had said this in a previous video, but it signifies and it represents a lot more than it meets the eye, right? You have Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting against Darth Maul, the shadow apprentice of Emperor Palpatine. And at first glance, it's two Jedis against a Sith, right? But when you dive into it, when you look at the complexity of it and how it could affect Anakin's future as who is to train him, right? Say if Darth Maul would have killed both of them, then who knows? Anakin would have never been trained as a Jedi, most likely, because the Council didn't want it, right? And then if Obi-Wan would have died and Qui-Gon would have lived, then Qui-Gon would have trained Anakin. And as I previously stated in another video, that most likely Dooku probably wouldn't have turned to the dark side. He probably still could have. But like I had said before, Qui-Gon's death was his last straw, per the Tales of the Jedi, just based off of what I saw. And then you have, the possibility of if they both would have survived, right? Well, Obi-Wan wouldn't have been so quick, or he wouldn't have been forced to adapt more quickly to his training to help train Anakin. because I feel like one of Anakin's downfalls was the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't ready to train Anakin, as was Qui-Gon. But at the end of the day, Obi-Wan would have also helped train Anakin, obviously being connected to Qui-Gon, and then Qui-Gon would have mainly trained Anakin, and then you probably still would have had Dooku in the ring training Anakin. So Anakin probably could have been a lot better off if neither of them died, but someone had to die out of the two. And, the fact that it was Qui-Gon, which was Dooku's final straw. Dooku left the order, and then which forced Obi-Wan Kenobi to take on the burden of training this young Anakin Skywalker. And I think as the movie progressed and you started to catch on to how Qui-Gon was acting and why he wasn't on the council, and his obsession with the prophecy and how it was meant to bring balance to the Force. And at the end of the day, Qui-Gon was indeed correct, because Anakin did bring balance to the Force by overthrowing the Emperor. And so when you look at the movie as a whole, considering everything I just said, having the Duel of Fates, having a really cool character like Qui-Gon, seeing the conflict between Qui-Gon and the Council, and why to train Anakin, why not to train Anakin, and it was just personally a slam dunk in terms of story. Okay, and did Jake Lloyd deserve any of the hate? Absolutely not. Same for Hayden Christensen when Attack of the Clones came out and Revenge of the Sith came out. He deserved zero hate, right? George Lucas made these characters the way that he felt like they needed to be, and I have no complaints in that regard. A lot of people say Jar Jar Binks ruins Phantom Menace. I don't believe that. I think, yes, he's a goofy character. He can throw off the mood at times when watching a film. I personally think he's comical. Is he unnecessary to the story as a whole? Yes. But I don't feel like that should be a pretty big knock on the film itself. But the Phantom Menace delivers where other movies don't deliver, right? It starts off the story of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, and starts it off with a bang, right? Qui-Gon dying, and then, obviously Darth Maul died too, but we all know Darth Maul didn't die. He survived. Which Qui-Gon's Force Ghost is still probably like, how did he get cut in half and survive? I got stabbed in the stomach and died. I know, Qui-Gon, it's not fair, but you took one like a champ, and the story was just that much better because of your sacrifice. So, but at the end of the day, a lot of people like to overlook the Phantom Menace just because of the green screen, the catering to the kids, and the goofiness that you get from Jar Jar Binks and the Gungans. It's funny, I always go back to the deep fake of George Lucas when he's sitting back. He's like, oh yeah, I should put more Gungans in there. That really pissed people off, Like, that's funny, right? And it's funny to laugh about. But at the same time, it is just made the whole desk shake. It is, at the end of the day, a good Star Wars film. And it kind of gives you insight, like if you actually pay attention to the politics that's going on with the Separatists, it actually, helps break down things really, easily to where you can understand the Separatists' point of view with the Senate, with Palpatine, with Dooku. And I feel like the film, starting out, or Anakin's journey, honestly, I think you couldn't have asked for a better representation of it. And I think it gets a lot of unnecessary hate. because, another point I'll hit on is, Anakin is obviously conflicted about leaving his mom, right? And then that carries on into Attack of the Clones, where, he goes back for his mom, because of the dreams he was having. And, it just laid the ground for so many things to happen. And that being one of them, and helping with developing into Darth Vader, developing into that dark Anakin Skywalker-esque, right? It was personally a knockout of the park. So, the Phantom Menace sitting solid at number 6. Very, very, very much deserving of that spot. And shoot the hate at me. Don't agree or disagree. And at the end of the day, the Phantom Menace is better than all the sequels, because it delivers a cohesive and comprehensive start to the entire Skywalker saga. And and with it only having 3 negatives, green screen, catered to kids, the goofiness, Jar Jar Binks, I think it checks all the rest of the boxes. So, Phantom Menace, ranked number 6. Let me know down below on what you think. Comments, agree, disagree. Let's get into it. And we'll be back for rank number 5 in these Star Wars film rankings. So just again, for a recap, 11, Rise of Skywalker. Trash. 10, The Last Jedi. Number 9, omitted. Number 8, we have a tie with Solo, Star Wars Story, and Attack of the Clones. Then at number 7, we have The Force Awakens. And then now at number 6, we have The Phantom Menace. So tune in next time to see what is ranked number 5. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and you want to see more. And without further ado, may the Force be with you.